Yeah, but we're gonna do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a copy of the May minutes. It's just been us three that were here, so one of us has to make one. So I guess I can make a motion. I move we approve the minutes from the May 25th meeting as presented. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Do the next one, we keep trying to these next two: organization, election of officers, and approval of bylaws. Do we want to, I think I've got approval. Using some slang on the agenda, I dropped the A there, approval of. Copy and paste sometimes just doesn't work. Do we want to do those? Do we want to wait? Do you think it'll make any difference?
There's 5 of us.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a majority.
We got some verbal confirmations in the last meeting from some of the people who were present. I think, I just don't know if we have, anyone.
Enough people that will volunteer for the other position?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's the main thing is, I'm happy to continue with the minutes. But if I'm gonna, in the last meeting, it was noted that I volunteered to be the, what is it called in the
Chairman, president?
chairman?
Oh, you did?
I did.
Well, she was volunteer. Put it that way.
There was a recommendation,
Yeah.
yeah, she was not opposed to the idea.
Yeah, like, I can be chairman, but I probably shouldn't be chairman and secretary.
And the question was to those that were nominating her, would they be secretary? And then there were excuses of why they couldn't be secretary. Because their handwriting was. You got it all. Recorded. I was gonna look to the bylaws to see what we call them.
Yeah, so can chairman and secretary be the same person?
They could, I mean, I don't think there's anything in the bylaws that says differently, we call it chairperson and vice chair. But that was really the only two that were called out in the bylaws. You know, we've been pretty specific in the minutes, but we wouldn't necessarily have to continue them with the video recording, as long as we put a synopsis out, and then the minutes will, are on the county's YouTube channel, so people can find them there if they want to know.
Yeah, the minutes are mostly just there to remind people of
Sure, action.
what we need to do for action, so.
And so, whenever you took the minutes, you started with this agenda, and then this is kind of what you developed from the
Yeah.
conversations.
Yeah.
I would be able to do that if that was something that we're really hurting for someone to do.
Well, like you said, just a way for us to keep up on the actions.
Absolutely.
So if that was the extent of what you wrote down, I think that would be fine. I don't think I mean, once again, if we needed to go back and see what was said about some other, then we could go back and watch the video, and do it that way. Unless we decide later that, oh no, we need to write it down.
Yeah, we just don't want to have to watch the whole video.
No.
We're supposed to do.
No, I mean, we'll have the agenda, it should kind of
Sure.
keep us, you know, it's gonna be an hour, so it wouldn't be too hard to track down what's what.
Well, I'll put your name down next to secretary and we can vote.
Did we have anybody volunteer for vice chair?
I almost emailed you.
I will
Yeah,
volunteer.
okay.
So then that fills our positions, right? That's
Yeah.
our three.
Look at us.
Look at us being awesome community servants.
Wonderful. Oh, I'm trying to make this. There we go. Okay, sorry, formatting.
So if there are, I guess we could present kind of the slate of officers, and unless anyone disagrees, then we can just vote on it like that. I'm okay with that. So the slate of officers would be Jane as the chairman, as the vice chairman, and right now Amanda, is there, you're Amanda, and DJ as the secretary.
Yeah.
So I'll make that motion. They probably can't second it, so.
I second.
Okay. You guys can't vote on it, but we'll vote on it. And I don't care. All right, I can still run this setup so that people
Okay.
don't worry about that.
So I don't have to push those buttons.
No, and really, I mean, this part is no problem. It's just at the end, you gotta go through a couple steps to upload it, but it's, when it's already set up, it's really not hard, but I don't mind. I can continue to do that.
Next.
That's probably fine. I'll be
No.
double- I'm also gonna allow Dave to continue going over the agenda.
Oh.
But I'll send it out next time and I'll,
48 hours in advance.
yeah,
No,
and I will be around. I'll make sure of it.
I'm gonna be in Colorado or Utah.
Nope. I'm about to be in Atlanta though.
So next on the bylaws, I didn't print off copies of people. I sent them out a while ago. Do people need a copy? Because they want-
I think there were a few edits suggested and
Yeah.
as long as those were made.
I can make those updated and. This is the vice chair will arrange for virtual meetings if we can't meet in person.
I will
I don't know that you have to worry about that.
probably allow you to do that.
And you will.
I'll make it happen.
Yeah, that's not a big deal. I mean, with the camera set up, I mean, the only thing it wouldn't, since it wouldn't be here, we'd just do it at our residence and it would be still recorded and then upload it the same one, so I can take care of that as well.
If you have the county Zoom account, that's probably the way to go.
Yep. It's made, you know, I often wonder, we switched from someone recording it to the owl. And it's a little different perspective, but the owl covers everything. It's, you know, we weren't necessarily trying to put together a production. So just recording what's going on and it's worked so well, we're gonna start doing some other meetings as well. So some of the other plan commission and board of zoning appeals and some of those others are gonna start, we'll purchase the owl for them and get that going, so.
Great.
All right, so do we want we have the comments on the bylaws, we'll get those implemented, and I'll get the number for the resolution that established the Health and Human Commission. So not really any big changes there. Any other questions on the bylaws? Let me let you take over this. Or you want me to keep going?
You are welcome to, so go ahead. Typing. Oh. I'm not a great multitasker when I'm using my hands, so. But yeah, I think just in general, I think as long as those updates we discussed in the last meeting are
Okay,
put through, then I think we're good to move to vote.
so take a motion to approve the bylaws with the edits that have been brought forward. And the couple that I said about bringing in the actual resolution number. And checking, there's a couple things you want to check on to make sure the Indiana code that was referenced was correct, so.
And if it's not, then we can just do without it.
Well, I mean, we just put the right one in there and go from there.
So I will second the motion to vote on the bylaws.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor, right behind?
Aye.
Okay.
Kimmy.
Hi.
Well,
Floated down 65 in a minute.
Oh, man, I was down trees. I really felt like I was about to be in the middle of a tornado at one point. I had to burn light ones.
I'm happy.
Oh, turning days up there, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, the one that was it earlier this year or late last year, the like Greenwood area, north of where the warehouse building, is this one, this last one, was it pretty close to the same or is it further south?
The one on Sunday was Greenfield. So it
You
was,
said Whiteland too, because I mean,
Wyland is where I was today. I don't know if there was a tornado, but the sky turned, there was stuff blowing across, but then when I got a little further, once I got back on the road, then the highway, I was like at a standstill for 30 minutes, and when I got up there, there was trees and sheriffs and everybody trying to clear off 65. Yeah. Normally a 2-hour drive.
Glad you're safe.
Thanks, me too. Good to be here, son.
next to the warehouse that has had to come in,
mhm,
half of it's gone.
yeah, I think it ripped down. And it's funny, you know, you got two on each side.
Yeah.
Don't look like anything happened, and then that particular one, and then the stuff, at least I went up shortly thereafter, you know, all across on the other side of 65 and stuff. And it's crazy. It's almost like the houses on 56 going out of Hanover. I mean, if it's just those two, I guess maybe one on the south side of 56 had a little bit, maybe the barn got hit, but
Well, to catch you up, we've got a lot done already. Great. We approved the minutes from May. We elected officers. So I'm gonna be the chairman. Amanda is gonna be the vice chair. And DJ is gonna be the secretary, starting next meeting. Yeah. So that is done, and we just voted on the bylaws, and with the edits that were brought forward, I think we voted and approved, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I just hadn't written that down yet.
all right, next, I had talked a little bit about Senate Bill 4 last meeting. There's a handout of the things, that are,
Like this.
yeah, sorry, I got them.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You know, forget to hit color when I made copies, but, so, it's, you know, these are just some of the requirements that if a county opts in, which we opted in, at our last commissioner meeting. So, they have a certain amount of funding up at the top of the page that's, for 2024 and then 2025, and the difference is based on how many counties decide to opt in. If all 92 counties opt in, then this bill would provide $360,473.63. Well, I would have put cents on these. Anyway, and I'm not sure how they determined the 480,000. Obviously, it's less than the 92 counties, but I don't know what exactly they decided should be the fewest counties that would opt in. Anyway, and then it will increase in 2025, and then it will continue at those levels until they decide they want to stop it. So below the funding requirements, it says at least 60% of that funding has to be used for those kinds of services, that top group, and then no more than 40% can be used for those listed below. And the deal, some of the things that are included is that it's not just the health department that is providing these services. It can be local health organizations doing it. So if someone's doing something now and it would be good to expand that service, but they couldn't because of funding, but now they'll have some funding to do that. But it'll be in partnership with the health department. So, I meant to get, Lindsay here tonight, but just things got crazy, so I'll have her at our next meeting and she can explain a little bit more about the.
So I'm also newly on the health department board and equally clueless on that, at this juncture. So it seems like there's all these moving funding sources and moving agendas that, just at a glance, and part of this I'm sure is because I'm on a steep learning curve of all this, but it feels a little bit like I'm talking about the same thing in different meetings. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Like, let's say there's $360,000 to deal with. Do we
Not this.
influence the direction of those funds, or does the health department, or?
Well, I think
Or
that
is there-
would have the final say. Can we influence it? Sure.
So we'd be more of an advisory to the health department?
Well, in certain areas, we can provide recommendations.
Yeah, okay.
In the end, they can say, no,
Yeah.
sorry, or, yeah, we think that's a good idea,
Okay. Yeah, okay.
so. I mean, there's a certain amount that shows you the legacy amount. Right now, they're getting this $53,000 a year. So is it a substantial increase?
Yeah.
I mean, funding's gonna help. I don't know that that's the end all answer, but it will help.
Yeah.
So there are, some performance indicators that they're gonna want to see, the state want to see. So they'll have to keep track of, I think a lot of it just, did you provide the service and to what level?
Sure. Sure.
And Lindsay has said they provide a lot of them already, but now it's gonna allow them to expand those services, which is something we've talked about. So it's working out very well with that respect, but you know, there are other things. You know, there's also, in addition to kind of the medical side, there's mental health side as well that's out there. There's funding that's coming for that. So I think, you know, we can also, since there's really not like the Department of Health board, there's not a mental health board, so maybe we have a little more influence on that.
Yeah.
And there is a group looking at addiction treatment and mental health services. So obviously they're gonna have a lot of say in it, but not to say that we won't.
So is that group reporting to the Board of Health, or is that group
No, there,
reporting to the?
a lot of that
commissioners?
is really associated with the justice side of things. So it's called JRAC. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what the,
Mhm.
the name.
And there's the ones that in every county, the JRACs.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what JRAC stood for, but
Oh.
the judicial, I'm just gonna guess, but, so they have been awarded a grant and they have hired a person to kind of, okay, what resources are out there and what should we as a county be looking to provide or become a part of to help on the mental health side of things, because unfortunately, when certain resources from the state have been shut down, the local jail has become the de facto mental health place.
Right.
The county must pay a certain amount every year to different organizations to try to provide mental health services. In our jail right now, there's just so little space. You really, if you take them out and try to treat them, you put them right back into the general population. So it's really hard to give them any space to kind of catch their breath. So, and, you know, one of the things that we've talked about is it does each county need its own, or should it be a regional facility where several counties go together to provide some mental health treatment for folks? But, you know, I know that specifically in the mental health side, they've talked to there's more more opportunity for facility type spending than in this one. This one, you're limited to 10% a year can go to capital kind of projects. So they're not looking to build buildings here, but the mental health one's got a little more language to suggest you could give some of that funding for that.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah,
Can't build a facility for $36,000.
no, no.
Right, okay.
Well, but you know, if you needed to expand
Right.
something in the health department building, then you could look at that.
Yeah.
And it'd allow you to, well, sure. I don't know if they would consider that a capital expense, or if that would be something that's still, you're providing the service, maybe buying the vehicle, yeah, but paying for folks who are gonna be in the mobile. Service.
Well, yeah, I wonder here on it has testing and counseling for STDs included in funding, which I know our local health department offers, but it's like you have to go there, it's on Wednesdays at a certain time, and I know at the jail, the local Jefferson County jail, I was able to utilize essentially services out of Scott County for free to come in and do hepatitis B and HIV testing to those who wish to have it, which a large number at that time did wish to have that. So, you know, that is always great if we can find out. When people know statistically spread goes down, people do want to be responsible when they know for the most part. So that would be great if we were able to have more services like that.
Yeah, I
within our
don't know that, you know, when they're talking about working with other services, that service has to be in Jefferson County. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
they partner with others
Partner with
that were, or there's enough funding there that we have our own service in Jefferson County, so.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're gonna look at those things, but I think, once again, we have an opportunity to help or make recommendations or make suggestions that would be, you know, once again, I mean, they know what they know, but they don't know what they don't know, so we're trying to help in those areas.
Right.
I mean, just like, you know, Mrs. Hall, was that her last name? The lady came and talked to us about autism, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, she came to the commissioners similarly and that, but I think we need to. you
And
know,
I have received some more communication from her that I need to pass on to the group.
But I think doing something, you know, later in the summer where it's just, like I said, I mean, we have these veteran stand downs where people can come in and just hear the resources that we have. And so in that case, maybe it's just to start off with, we focus right on that. You know, it's just gonna be about autism and how we can help folks and the training that's provided and things like that. And maybe in the years to come, we expand that some. You'd hate to start with something that, you know, we rent Brown Gym and we've got 3 people in there with their, you know, in here. So, but, you know, I mean, the stand down is, you know, they have a number of different veteran services that are out there that, you know, oftentimes you just don't know they're available. And it is such a, you know, there's a group out of Louisville that does equine, so horses. And the guys talked about, I like the horse because you can't just do it alone. You know, most guys or veterans don't have that experience with horses, that you can't just turn them loose with one, so they have to work together. And he says, for some people, that's what needs to happen, because they've kind of isolated themselves. So, but in, you know, finding those kind of resources that out there that, I mean, not that we're gonna develop them, but they're out there and people are trying to get the word out to folks. So I will get Lindsay to come. I'll try to see if it's next meeting. We're gonna have to, I know we had a tentative on the July meeting. I thought it was gonna get moved, but it stayed where it was at. So we're gonna have to decide if we wanna move it or wait until August. We can talk about that later, but I'll try to get her to come to that next meeting, to talk about the kind of their plan so far, what they're looking at and things that they've started putting together as far as, because the state will require a plan for how you're gonna spend this money. It's not just, here you go, hey, have at it, do whatever you want, we don't care.
Yeah.
In the end, it could be that way, because it seems like there's been a couple funding sources that are very detailed, and when they send it to you, and then they start realizing, wow, that's gonna require a lot of effort on our part. You just have it and you be okay with it. Okay. I think it would fall in health. It might kind of fall in both. I have had discussions with the she's been there for a little bit, the director of the Bethany Legacy. And I was gonna invite her to come and just talk a little bit about what they're doing. And, I'm sure part of the kind of the lingering thing out there, what happens if we need money? What are we gonna do? So maybe that's a way to help us in that area. But I mean, we'd have to have a plan that what we wanted to do. We could just say, hey, how about giving us a, but when we do, maybe that's an option. I mean, they've put a pretty lofty goal out there, and they have a lot of resources to at least try to help get there. So let's take advantage of it. I mean, the rock climbing walls, they want us to be healthy. They want kids to get outside. Would that fit in there? Better believe it would. I mean, I will reach out to her, but I'll get her just to come and talk to us, get to know us. And she said she might come, frequently, just let her know. But there's also the group out of, I think they're out of Idaho that had this fitness pad that I talked about that, they were looking to just put one in Jefferson County, but if Bethany Legacy wants to expand access for folks to get active, it's a 40 by 40 pad that's got a number of different exercises in it. You've got a little QR code that you can scan on your phone, and it'll take you through how to do all of them, how to go through a program of different exercises. I mean, and the backside of it was a wall that they would either provide artwork, or you could have people provide their own. And what a great opportunity, because there's plenty of folks out there, at least it seems like there's plenty of folks in our area that want to do that or would have that opportunity to do some artwork and do things.
It's on today.
Okay, so, I mean, it's what a good opportunity.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I will, I'll talk to her. I don't know, we'll see, just some of it may depend on her schedule, but.
So the mention of the YMCA, obviously the paper made a big.
How many phone calls can I get about the wine?
So I had no idea, I didn't see the paper, and somebody messaged me on Facebook that I don't know, like, messenger, I was like, I saw you're part of the YMCA, I'm like, what's
Yeah.
so I'm glad y'all brought this up, I'd love to know.
I mean, we found out, I think there's 2 or 3 groups already out there working on it.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
the one who contacted me, yeah, she's like worked to get one set up somewhere else before, I guess.
Well, that's good to know, but
And I
I mean,
can share with you as well, somebody who reached out to me about it.
so, I mean, yeah, I don't know that we need to drive it, but it was funny, you brought it up, and all these people.
We hit a
So,
nerve.
To me, that's probably another example of, it just subjectively, it feels like there are 5 grassroots efforts to get a YMCA or something like that in our community. And I don't know if this is the venue, but it seems like if somebody could consolidate those efforts, they would get more traction.
Or at least get them together to start talking, because, I mean, one, there's a couple were from the Madison area, but so we're not really just focusing on Madison, we're focusing on the whole county.
Yeah.
And I think that would bring some of those others, and I think you're right. I mean, no sense 5 people trying to do all this work when together they could probably get more done and get more, it would probably be more appealing when they saw the range of folks working on it rather than just 5 different groups.
Yeah.
So does it make sense, in our last meeting, I talked about having like a listening session with certain groups. Would it make sense for us to try to set up a
Yep.
listening session with some of the groups that have reached out
Yeah.
to
I
like
think
put
so.
them all in one room to see how collaboration goes?
Who survives?
Yeah.
But once again, I don't get the feeling from any of them that it's gotta be here. You know, it's just, they like it somewhere in the area. So
I think,
I had one reach out that didn't want one, but
okay.
he runs. Yeah,
It's funny,
But he
because
doesn't
I
have a
just feel like
swimming
when I
pool.
moved here, I just kept hearing, I don't know
Yes.
when Switzerland County got theirs, but I remember when I first moved here, people saying, we should have got that YMCA, but they got it down the road.
I've heard that a million times.
Okay, yeah, and I was like, well,
We
I don't
should've
know what
got-
happened before I got here.
We should have got Vivi's YMCA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't
But-
mean it can't happen.
Right.
Well, and honestly, so, we're in an era of influx. And we've had tremendous influx of business and, just individuals. I run into people almost every week that are transplants here from wherever. And, so maybe this time, whatever went on 20 years ago that
Mhm.
VV got the YMCA and we didn't. Maybe it's time to revisit that,
Mhm.
and it would be nice to do it in a concerted way. I know there's a group of, well, there's at least one position that's
Sure.
very ambitious about it. And I don't know what all he's coordinated, but, to hear him talk, he's got a small army put together for us.
Yeah.
Um,
I think you're right. I mean, having that listening session, so, because different folks will, I mean, there are some common things, obviously, they're looking for, but there may be some other things. I mean, in that case, he listed some things, and I'm like, wow, I don't know that would be a common, sorry, we're just talking all this guy's voice. It is a common thing that would be at a YMCA, but why not? Some of the things that he was talking about, why not be able to do physical therapy, in a, kind of a control, right there, in a controlled kind of, we're gonna talk to you, and then we're gonna go do some of these things and have the space to do it, so.
Also, the county is in a really good position to be able to assess needs in ways that individual groups may not be able to. Just to see what a YMCA could do that we're not already doing. I know that I just saw like the Boys and Girls Club got a big grant from Bethany Legacy. And that's supposed to help them expand further into the county, but I don't think we should expect just one organization to take care of all the kids in the county.
yeah, right.
I don't think that, I mean, that's a lot of pressure.
Sure.
So like finding where the gaps are in their programming and trying to fill it with another venue might be the way to go. And it doesn't even have to be in Madison proper. It can be kind of more on the outskirts in the rural areas. And that can help other counties as well, because I think even Scott County, they have a YMCA, but they don't have a pool. That's
No, they have a
open.
pool.
Yeah, it's open, yeah.
That's open.
Oh, it's
open.
They had a pool, but I think they had to close it, so
Oh, wow.
getting
Okay.
a little closer to that county might help people have
I mean,
access to a pool.
So help me out, why did they have to close it?
I don't know.
Money?
Yeah, it's became too expensive to keep it open and didn't have the use, and so, that's what I've heard. I haven't talked to anybody there.
Wow.
So,
But, something that we talked about with that, the mobile services and the health, having it so it's close to folks, well, so that maybe suggests that, yeah, it needs to be at a different location, just to get a draw for.
maybe whoever was like, I don't want a YMCA won't be that much affected by it if it's not properly in Madison. Because, I mean, if it's about serving people and health,
Sure.
The other
Having
thing, to be
access.
fair, there's Planet Fitness, and there's Fit for the King, that are probably the competitors we're talking about, but those are not necessarily families going to a pool, community classes,
Sport leagues for kids.
yeah, those are primarily individuals that want to go to the gym. And I think for a YMCA, we're not talking necessarily about a gym as much as a community health
Mhm.
benefit type place. So, at first glance, those things might be competitive, but yeah, okay, so, I don't know, maybe some of these things are competitive, but but they don't have to be.
They don't have to.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes like our downtown, I think, so wonderful is that I see these businesses that elsewhere maybe would be competitors, but really supporting one another.
Right.
And it can be the same when it comes to
Right,
health and activity and equality in our community, that it can have a few things that may be the same, but that they also fill gaps other places. And
Right.
it just makes us a better, stronger county and community.
And not everybody wants to work out in a place that's family focused.
right, right.
Right.
Scream and drop the weights. It's. All right, good discussion, man. I mean, I think,
As far as like, action on that, should we just plan to compare notes on who all has reached out to our group as individuals?
but I would think asking your contact, hey, would you be interested? We're just gonna try to
Yeah.
have a listening session and just,
We can all just say,
Right.
hey, listening session,
Yeah.
does that sound like a good opportunity? If so, we'll schedule it.
sure, yeah, if they go, no way, this is,
And then we'll pull all that information together
Right,
in
and
the
then we
next
can-
meeting and.
and we can
Okay.
decide how to go forward. And it may identify some, other things that may fit that bill that, doesn't have to be a YMCA, but it's just one that's pretty standardized, it's out there that provides some benefits that people are looking for, so. Anything else on health? Human relations, do we need to, start, I don't know, if we have any,
Have some follow-up on some of my action steps from last
Okay.
time,
what you-
as I type this action. You put everyone in parentheses here.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I know we were talking about listening sessions last time in regards to the LGBTQI plus community and the BIPOC, community. And I was gonna reach out to a few groups and just kind of go ahead and start testing the waters, and I did run into a few people to see, like, does it sound like a good idea, and they thought so. And just to clarify, I think with these meetings, if y'all weren't at the last meeting, I ran into somebody who was trans and they mentioned how they didn't feel safe here. And so I thought it would be a good idea for us as a group who is focusing on, health, human relations, safety, that sort of thing, to listen to people in these groups so that we can, make good decisions and know what issues are the most at the forefront. And these kind of listening sessions wouldn't be like open to the public so much, just to like ensure that people feel safe. But it would be just more of us in the room and people can tell us their stories and I think the goals would be just to have a good understanding of what's needed in our community.
Just
And
to
how
listen.
we as a commission could better understand and then act towards those needs. One thing I did do is I reached out to the Madison HRC just with an invitation of, hey, we're doing the same thing. If we're gonna do listening sessions, it probably makes sense for like both commissions to be in the room so that you don't have to gather again. So I basically put out an invitation. I reached out to kind of their chair as well directly. They're on vacation right now. So we'll probably follow up more to try to plan a collaborative event between the Madison HRC and this HHRC for the county. I know that DJ was following up on that too, is how we want to collaborate with them as well, and not just kind of act independently all the time. So yeah, that's in the works. I haven't set anything up yet. We're just kind of.
Well, I think just what we talked about before, just finding out if that's something of interest to you. Would you want to come
Yeah.
and talk? And
Yeah, and I think there is interest because I talked to Aretha Beavers, who's the head of PFLAG, and she said, yeah, just let me know, set up a date and I'll make sure the word gets out. So I figured we could also reach out to the Rainbow River Club as well. And then,
Are you on their mailing
I don't know, I didn't know there was a mailing list.
list? An email, like,
Okay,
I'm on there, so
Okay.
that's what I'm
I'll see
asking,
if
so
I
I
can
can
get
help
on
with like facilitating, or I can get you on the email list if you wanna reach out to me.
great, I'm learning so much.
We'll get you on the agenda for all the
Do it.
gatherings for the rest of the year.
That's wonderful. So yeah, the other part is the BIPOC community, which, BIPOC is kind of like a acronym for, Black and Indigenous people of color. Just so that we're kind of listening to, people in the community. I think DJ kind of proposed that as well at the last meeting, once we started talking about listening groups. So, I think that one will be a little harder, just because there's not like a club. So it's gonna have to be more word of mouth than us like reaching out directly to people, I think, to make that one happen. So, just on my own, like, goals, I think doing the LGBTQI plus community one first, because there's direct contacts we can make, and then following up with the next one. At that point, maybe it'll be closer to when Hanover College is in session, so we'll have access to students as well. We were talking about doing specific sessions with them as well. But we might have a lot of meetings, so that is another challenge. But I think as we kind of get started with this, like knowing and understanding and recording what community needs are is going to be important.
yes, I mean, I think it's far better doing it that way than going, oh, this is what you need. We think this would be a good idea. Oh, why do you think that? Well, but maybe it's going, down on was it the north end of Broadway when they have the Juneteenth celebration down there, but maybe it's having a meeting down there. There's a shelter house in that park there.
There's
Do we
know
when our
park is, supposed to be finished?
Yeah, it's, Queens Park, I was down there the other week for the Juneteenth thing, and, it wasn't done yet.
There was no equipment currently. when I was-
They still have the little shelter, but we might need a bigger space. But it doesn't mean we can't be in that area, maybe even meet at the church, we'll see.
They have, cause I used to live on that end of Broadway for like 5 years. And there's like a yearly block party.
That was in September.
September, yeah, I couldn't remember exactly when it was.
Yeah, the Broadway one.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually the same weekend as the.
Everything.
As yeah.
There, last year, I
Music
had
party, yeah.
different places I was trying to hit because, yeah, and Casa Amiga had like, where one of their fundraisers where they're selling food.
Yeah.
And that was going on, and there was another maybe.
Yeah,
That's cool.
so that might be a tough weekend to do it.
Yeah.
Cause
I was
everybody's.
just trying to think what else to maybe gather. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it may be
From the
that
community.
have a table or something there at that. I mean, I wouldn't want to hijack their celebration. Hey, we're here, or you're here too, so we're gonna,
Yeah,
you know, but just kind of reach out and,
maybe we schedule the listening session sometime after
Right,
the event so
right.
that people know about it.
Mm.
And then,
sure.
And maybe
So
tell them
working
about
it
it
out.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
I found running for office, if they'll come to you, that's so much better than you having to go out and get them. So I went to the 6 trash collection points around the county and threw people's trash from their car to the garbage truck, but I gotta meet a lot of people. So
Nice.
why not let them come to you? And there will be, I mean, it's not like you're forcing them, they're gonna be there because they're interested in what's going on.
we'll have to have somebody at the Casa Amiga event as well on the same day.
And
Yeah.
I mean, once again, a table and,
We'll need 2 tables.
okay.
Just get an airplane banner.
Everybody's banner all
Fly
over
around
town.
Listening center on this day.
Man, only this stuff would make it in the newspaper.
Did see Bob at the kindness mural, celebration. He plans to listen. He had a lot with regard a week today. Memory.
Bob, Emery, oh, yeah,
Memory,
yeah, Bob.
So neat. So.
He's been great.
Hi, Bob.
Yeah. He said he had the baby contest tonight, but I said, it's in the outdoors, so I hope that got canceled.
They did.
Yeah. Maybe he got a break.
Anything else on human relations? I think when we find out other opportunities like that, if you can go where they're at and they can, and then
Yeah.
kind of,
Get the word.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially with groups that don't have a group. So, yeah,
That's okay. So yeah, my action there is just gonna be to follow up with the HRC and start looking at dates.
yeah, I think just finding out the September date to kind of plan for that one, and you know, that same day as Council Amiga, so we can have that one.
Yeah, and then a week later, we'll do the actual event, so that
Well, see,
people know about it.
yeah.
Were there any other, action items on our agenda?
I was asked to get some more information about the Hanover Community Garden specifically, and so what I was able to get from my conversations was that, all of the produce that they gather at that goes to the House of Hope Food Bank. And they have a partnership with Jefferson House and the Ruth House, in order to have the produce picked twice weekly. And so while I guess they were highlighting that because it's new, there's not gonna be a lot of yield this year, but in the future, that's kind of how they're planning on managing that relationship in order to get those items picked in that places. So I thought that was really nice to see those partnerships out there.
Awesome. What were the 2 ones for
Yeah, it-
harvesting?
It was the Jefferson House and then the
Ruth
Ruth
Haven.
Haven.
Hannah was talking about doing a farmer's market out at, we have a park and ride that's currently being overtaken by the auto shop next to it. We'll have to clean that up, but we're gonna have it out there, cause you've got I guess it's not too safe to go across 5662 to the subdivision, but there's also the mobile home park behind it, so trying to do some things there to.
Right.
But we can talk to them if they wanna, once they're producing more, to have a place to.
I can officially say that I've installed a community garden now. It happened.
Right.
It's been around for about 3 weeks now. It's behind the Calvary Church, which is behind the Aldi Taco Bell area. I think in doing that installation, and it is a sharing garden, so anybody can come and tend or harvest when things are ready. So
Put fence around it.
no,
Not for people.
no. We have had at least one critter incident though, but nothing was damaged.
Not yet.
Not yet. We're kind of seeing how it goes. This is kind of a test garden for us to see. The church said they didn't think they had any critter issues, but maybe in if you build it, they will come suggest. But yeah, I think it'll be an interesting learning experience. There isn't a sharing garden like this in the county, I don't think. So it's kind of a first time thing. One thing that I did notice is that it is kind of in an area where a lot of our unhoused population tend to go to hang out during the day, which I thought was interesting, and I didn't know that about that area. So that's something to kind of be aware of. I think in meeting a few of the people there at the garden, one guy came and helped us out a little bit, and we gave him some water and some food. He had just been in the hospital and then was just released, and he's just, trying to go somewhere for some shelter. And at that point, I realized that there isn't a shelter in our county, because he was asking if he could get in the church. I'm like, that's not my church. I can't let you in. And so I think that's something to think about in the future of how we as a county, especially when we're, addressing issues of health and human relations. How do we help those who need the most help? And that they aren't housed and they need food and opportunities for work. One of the men I met, he was celebrating. He was hanging out, just enjoying the day. And he was like, I was working at a company. I don't remember who it was. It might have been one of the automotive places around there. And he said that they had put him on temporarily to see how he did. And that day they had just hired him as an employee fully. And so he was just like in a great place, because being houseless and now having steady income basically meant that he could eventually afford housing. And so that I think was really cool. And we could maybe in the future, as one of our goals, try to figure out how to work with employers in the county to help out with that. I know it's really hard to fill out a job application when you don't have an address. So
I know
kind of
the-
work around some of that.
The Jefferson House in Brookhaven, they've worked it out with employers because it's part of their program is that they get a job, but they gotta go to the job and they gotta show up in time, they gotta do a lot of things, but they, because of that, when the employer hires someone from that, they know they got someone who's gonna be there.
Yeah,
So, I mean.
but that's they've been through the criminal justice system.
I think it's recovery.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can be, sometimes they go straight to Jefferson House or Ruth Haven before, because they realize that's the issue and that's what.
Or after a more intensive treatment program, then take a halfway house
Okay.
situation.
Yeah.
So, but yes, a lot to Justin.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know if there's a group that's already kind of working in that direction, then maybe it's about supporting and expanding what they do. But yeah, we can talk more about that. That was just an observation I had. Yeah, really interesting interactions. All right, anything else on there? Aaron Bell with the recycling thing we talked about last time.
Yeah. The Southeast Indiana Recycle District out at JPG, but I know they've tried in years past to set up recycle centers around the county, but people usually use that for non-recyclable stuff, and once it becomes trash, it's. So, then that privilege goes away. Because we can't afford to.
And Kim is gonna follow up probably next meeting about Larwell and the autism event. kind of stuff. All right. Future meeting?
So, like I said, I have a commissioner meeting on the 27th. I put it there because I thought that one was, my commissioner meeting was gonna change, but because of the fair and everything that month, I decided to keep it there. They moved to one in August, so we can either, move it. Could move it a week earlier, but I won't be here. I'll be in Kansas. August is kind of a long month. We could move it to the 3rd of August and then have another one the end of August. It would still be the 3rd and 31st. So we just have to move it back a week.
Anybody have any issues with the 3rd of August?
Or do you want to just wait till the end of August? That would be good to meet
That works. Or, okay, right now it works.
So August the 3rd.
Yeah. I'll make not to schedule any recitals on
Right.
All right, so we'll just have 2 August meetings.
Yeah. It'll be 4 weeks of March.
All right, well, I will send out the minutes. And the action items are gonna be bolded.
Okay. That's good. Sure.
Does anybody have anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Well,